what? Yep, there it is. Hi. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Let me get this thing. As always, I've tried it, but it's going to take a little bit more effort for this old lady. Anyway, it's very nice to be back again. I'm sorry it's been so long. It's not what I would like to be, but it's the reason I don't ever say, I'll tell you my plans, because, that doesn't work. We plan to get up in the morning at some point, have breakfast, do what we have to do, see the nurses and the aides, and do a little washing and all that, but everything else, it's not planned either. It's just as we can, when we can, and however Pop is. And he has been a little bit in a change lately, not for the better, but it's slow, so that's a good thing. But we have to kind of be careful, a little bit more careful about leaving the house, and when we can go, and where we can go, and how far we can go. But that's okay. We don't need to go to the Middle East again, or even, well, I would like to go to Jackson, Mississippi. That's where my grandson and great-grandchildren live, and I would like to go see them, but, that's still a ways. So, anyway, we're happy, and happy to be here, and happy to see you all again. I've been watching everybody's videos and enjoying them so much, and watching every time I see a new floss tuber, been watching them and just getting so much inspiration, and thinking, wow, maybe I can do something like that too. But I'm just so happy to see so many new people too. It's just amazing how many new people there are. So it can keep you busy with with watching everybody, and then watching the ones you've been watching too, which I have. So I enjoy it. It's still fun. I still get a lot of fun out of this. And this is, we added an apartment on the end of our house back when we came back from overseas in 1991. At that time we had, my mother was still alive, my grandmother, my husband's mother, an aunt of his, one of his mother's sister was still alive then, and she was like a second mama to him. So at that time we were planning for, there you go again, planning for what we might need to do when they were getting kind of close to, needing to be closer to somebody, even though his mother and aunt just lived, a couple of houses down. So, but that's still not right next door, because this is country, remember? But anyway, as the Lord would have it, he took a few out of order, I guess. Not out of his order, but, you don't think of some people going for a while because of age and stuff, maybe. But anyway, it was nice to have the apartment anyway. Both of our daughters lived here for a while they built their houses, so that was good. And then for so many years that I did craft shows, I used the apartment for storing things and working. This was my whole, it's a one-bedroom apartment. It's about 950 square feet, so it's not a tiny one. It's very nice size, but I used it. The kitchen in the apartment is our old kitchen out of the house, and when I drew the plans, I drew the kitchen specifically to hold those cabinets, and then added around that, and it worked out really good. And that worked out good for me because I did a lot of things with the drill press when I made signs and just, you know, everything you might need to drill a hole for. It was easier than that kind. Yeah, Pop's not the only one kind of losing his mind. I can't remember the names of things anymore either. But we try. So maybe you want to fill in the blanks once in a while. So anyway, I am in what's considered the dining room in the apartment, but we have it as a little, just a little sitting room right now. And there's a nice door over here with a window in it, and then there's a nice big window right there beside it. And it's north facing, but at times of the day, it's really, really nice to be over here. I love to come over here and sit on the couch for a little bit early morning and see if I can see some animals, and it's just pretty. It's all wood back there. It goes back for acres. But we have a lot of animals that come out of those woods, and they're really fun to see, besides being pretty. But this is a nice place to sit and stitch too for a while. So I thought I'd come over here. Pop is resting. This is late afternoon. It's an odd time for me to do this, but things have been pretty hectic for the last few days. Well, a few weeks actually. He's gone through, like I said, some changes. His temperament is changing again a little bit, and his eating, he doesn't like things now that he says he never ate them before, but he has, and he just doesn't want them anymore now. And he's been trying to get days and nights mixed up, which is not good. We can't, you know, we can't really do that. That's not been our well, our clocks are not set that way. Our internal clocks are not set that way. So anyway, I've been trying to work on that and not get him agitated and too upset about anything. Had to call the nurse out yesterday morning. He woke up about 4 o'clock and he didn't know where he was. He looked at me like he didn't know who I was, and he could not keep his eyes open, and I needed to take care of some things that were going on in the bedroom, and I couldn't get him to get out of bed. I couldn't get him up. Got the walker and brought it in there, and finally was able to get him up and sitting in the walker, and then I did what I needed to do, and he actually looked a little bit better after a few minutes. He did not keep his oxygen on all night, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it. He sometimes takes it off during the night, and if he starts breathing different, I'll put it back on. If not, if it's just going to be a few hours or something, I might leave it off for a while and then bring it back up and put it back on. And I check it all night long to see if it's still in his nose, because when you're turning, you know, it gets out of whack. I don't feel like it needs to be in his mouth. Sometimes that's where he pulls it, or he even pulls it up here. But anyway, he'll be good. He's better today. We went and had breakfast this morning. We went and ate this afternoon, and that's why I'm doing this at this time, because it's just worked out the best. So I've got my setup here in this dining room, and I've got this sitting on my my wooden ironing board. I had to take it out of the breakfast room in the main part of the house for to put some extra furniture in there that our grandson is going to come and get. So I moved this out so I could have it, because I use it for different things. So I thought I'd set it up in here, and it's worked real good. I put a chair over here with a cushion, and Wizard got up here with me a little while ago, but I don't know, something up here kind of scared him off, so he jumped down. He's laying on the floor down here at my feet. But this is his. I thought maybe he'd come if we were going to play with snowman a while. This is his snowman that we got him for Christmas. And he just tears this thing up. Isn't it cute? Look. You heard that, didn't you? Come on, get up here and you can play with him. Come on. Come on, and you can look in here. Okay. You want to get up here? Look, get up here. He's been a little bit afraid of all the noises anyway. I probably shouldn't have done that with all the fireworks going on everywhere. And around here, they don't stop on the 4th of July. But, okay, I said about glad to see y'all again and glad to be back. And I have missed y'all so much. I really have. I don't like to be this long without being able to talk with you. I've got some new subscribers too, and I'm so happy about that. I appreciate so much all the subscribers, everybody that watches, comments, just, you know, even if you don't comment and you watch, or, you know, if you don't, maybe you will one day, and I really appreciate it. It's so nice. I'm so happy for everybody that's gotten more subscribers too, and thank you. Keep coming back, and I'll try. Oh, he came and got his snowman out of the chair, walked behind my chair carrying it in his mouth, and he is out there tearing it up now. So cute. Today I want to show you a few farming things. There's not a lot right here, and some of this stuff is packed away right now. But you know, I mentioned that I like pigs on was it my last video, and y'all commented so much about that, and some funny things said about it too. And I don't think I talked too much about our farming, but I thought I would today. There you come back. Now what you want to do? Come on. Come on. Come on. You gonna get up here? Okay. Because I really do like pigs. And I think they're just so cute. Now this one is a thimble. It's not cross-stitch, it's a thimble. But I'm going to show it to you because I collect thimbles among a whole bunch of other things. And I think this one is so cute. So I thought, well, I'll find that since I'm going to talk about pigs. Isn't that pretty? It's got a little China painting. Where is that? On there. Isn't that beautiful? I think that's so cute. First of all, I found this pattern in the 80s, and I don't remember where or what, but it was in the 80s, and it is exactly Pop's farm boots. When they look pretty good too. And when I saw it, I had to do it. It was just him all over, you know. And I just had to do that. So that's what he wore. And this is the barn I did probably late 80s or 90s. I don't know about that either. You know, I don't know that anybody, if you didn't put it down here or somewhere on the back, people didn't keep journals or the the list of things that y'all do now. This is gonna be, I thought this might be better. I guess not. Anyway, I don't know, is that bad? I just like that barn, all the greenery around it and everything. We don't have one exactly like that, but we've got one that's in better shape than that one, and then one that's not. So, but I like red barns. I like that type of barns. Ours are more open than those because of where we live, I guess. And you see the side shed, which most of the barns have at some point or another. But anyway, I like things like that, so I'm always doing something about the farm or the country. Huh. Come on, baby. Come up here. Come up here with Mama. Come on. Come on. And this is one of my piggies. Feeding time. And this is one that a friend did, another crafter friend of mine did for me for Christmas one year. I thought it was so nice, so sweet of her. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thy heart. Psalms 27:14. I like that verse. Just couldn't read it very good. And I like the pig, of course. I think that's so cute. And that was done in the 90s. Now, one of the things I was going to tell you about our pig farming, when we first decided to raise pigs, they hadn't been on the farm in a long time. His mother and stepfather had pigs for many years, and they had a few cattle with their cattle that was my husband's when we were gone, when we were overseas, when we were in the service. So, you know, it wasn't something new, but we had never, ourselves had never, we'd always, I mean, we helped with hers, and our kids helped with hers, and he did and stuff. But so when he decided that we needed to go into the pig business, you know, what can you say? It's farmers. But I was concerned about it, but I know, you know, okay, let's do it. So we knew where we were going to have their, well, he concerns me now. He's sniffing around this couch. That worries me. If the door's been open, that worries me. We've had too many snakes lately. So if I scream and tip this over, you'll know what happens. Anyway, one day he said, okay, I'm going after the stuff to do this with, and we're going to mix the cement, and we're going to pour these 2 slabs. And so he took the trailer, he got what he needed on that, and he borrowed a small mixer, you know. I'm sure the thing was bigger than this, but by the time you have filled that 400 times, it feels like it's this size. And by the time you finish, you feel like you're only pouring out 1 cup of concrete, cement, whatever. But it was a little bit bigger than that. But it went on the tractor, on the PTO of the tractor, so that's how that was the power source. And we had water down there. It's kind of ways away from the house and down at in the field, and we had water down there, so he brought it all home. Got the forms built, and I went down to help him. This was still pretty early in the morning. It was after school started, but it was, you know, not long after. And so he said, okay, this is how much you shovel in the mixer of each thing. So I did it, and he showed me how much water to put in it and mixing it and what it should look like, you know, and you can kind of hear it too. But now this is a long time ago. This was, I don't know, maybe 70. Let's see, our last child was born in 69. Now this was probably about 72 or 3, maybe. So I did that, and then when it was ready, he'd take it off and pour it out where he was wanting it to be, and then he'd bring it back, and I'd mix another one as quick as I could, and kept doing that. And I don't remember either the size of the slabs, but they weren't tiny, of course, because then we had, in our biggest times, we had hundreds. That's counting the babies, and you know, that looks like millions when there's 25 running around. So, but I don't know how big the slabs were. But since we don't use them anymore, they have been enclosed, and they're used for storage, for wood, for lumber, for different things like that. They're not tiny, but they're not huge. But they did seem big at the time. So we did all that. Finally got all that mixed and poured, and he was out there filling the holes and filling the corners and moving it around, you know, as best he could. And then it came time for the skimming or scrimming, and that was another thing that was not a lot of fun. And besides that, it was the end of the day, and we were worn out. Now, I know you can see that I'm not a tiny person now. I'm short, but I'm not tiny anymore. But I was real tiny for years and years and years. So here you have this little tiny person out there with a 2x4. I'm on one end, he's on the other end, and we're trying to scrim this concrete slab. Didn't have to be really good like you would a house, but you still had to do it. And he was in a hurry to get through. He picked one end of it up, and he just did it too fast and too heavy, and I went flying off of the other. I said, I've got to go cook dinner. You better quit playing. So we got through with both of it anyway, both of them. And we did a good job. They worked out real good. They were really handy. It was really nice, because you need something like that when you got them. And then he went ahead and put the fence up and built the lean-to part of it, you know, for them. So they had, you know, a place to be that wasn't muddy. But pigs being pigs, they like mud, and they like a mud hole, and it's hot. So a mud hole kind of cools them off and all, but we had water down there, so, you know, we could clean it off and hose them off and stuff like that. We always fed our pigs and our cows good feed. Mostly it was feed we ground, or we had ground. We grew it and we had it ground. Grass, we had really good grass. We did not feed any of our animals antibiotics or growth enhanced products, stuff like that. one of our granddaughters asked me one time, brought her home from school, and we got the mail out of the box, was taking her to her house, and in the mailbox was this farm magazine that we got all the time. And on the cover, it showed these cattle, and the caption was, "Would you eat your own meat?" And she said, "Granny, would you eat your own meat?" And I said, "Absolutely." And I said, "And we have for many years, and so have you." But I'm glad she saw that and thought about it, you know, and talked about it. She is now an RN, and always been interested in medicine and microbiology and stuff like that. So that was cute. So anyway, I still had to come home and cook supper. I did not put anything on the stove or anything. At that time, we didn't have microwaves, we didn't have crock pots. I cooked beans and stuff on the stove, but I wouldn't leave it on while I was gone down there because it dries out too quick. So I had a few things in the pantry for occasions like that when, you know, if you could lay on the floor and cook, you might, but I was too tired and too sore. Oh my gosh. So we had whatever we had. I'm sure it didn't kill anybody because I cooked a lot then. I cooked a lot, and I cooked from scratch and full meals, except for that night. But another cute thing about that, I wrote some of them down too because I want to make sure. Oh, I think I said something about the sows, but this one particular one had a bunch of babies, and she did not like anybody in there around them, which is normal, you know. The animals don't want you to be around their babies, and the cows will take them somewhere and hide them, or go somewhere where they can hide them after they have them, and it sometimes takes a long time to find them in the woods. But anyway, the sows, you know, they don't want you in there. Well, he told me, he said, "You're going to have to go in the pen with that sow and keep her away from me so she won't bite me, because I need to take her babies and cut them. If you want to know what that means, I'll tell you later. But you have to let me know if you want it." I don't want to know. But it's okay. It's something you have to do, and it's okay. But anyway, so here I go, trying to keep her from eating me too, and keep her away from him. Well, we finally managed that, and he was the only one that fell. Thank goodness I did not fall. It's kind of funny. I mean, you have to laugh at that stuff. That's just all part of, there's so many things that happened around a farm, and Farm Girl knows probably more than I do. They have a big place. But they're cute, and I always enjoyed them. And another funny story was that a few years later, my mother came down to visit us, and she had been living in Spokane, Washington for many years. That's where I met my husband, and we had been transferred up there, and she stayed up there all those years. And so she flew down to visit us one time, and she really didn't know what to think about this. You know, she was almost, well, she was afraid to actually go out to the clothesline. She thought she's heard enough of his stories that she thought there was wild mountain lions or something. And there was some kind of cat that was here many, many years ago. And there's bear back here too, little bears. But anyway, that's another story too. But anyway, she was here, and it was cold. We didn't have too much going on. We fed the animals early, usually right after school. And so wintertime was a good time for us because we could relax a little bit and have our meal at night at a little bit better time. It depended on what he was working, but the kids would, oh dear, it's getting 30 minutes. Okay, I better hurry up. I hope this doesn't go out. Anyway, this one night, it was beautiful moon, and I said, let's go for a walk. It's such a pretty night, cool, and the moon is out. It's so pretty. And he said, okay. Well, I should have known something was up, because that's, that was giving in too quick to do that. So we took off, and we went walking down the road, and I said, well, shall we just walk down the road towards Mimi's and turn around and come back? He said, no. He said, I thought this would be a good time to go check this house and see if they started birthing yet. Romantic he is. But anyway, those are some of the funny things. So I haven't done much with the cross stitch today, but I have got some finishes for next time that I'm very pleased and happy to have. And I better go ahead and tell you goodbye, because I don't know how much longer this is going to be. But it's so good to be back and see you all again. I've enjoyed this so much, and I hope you get a little chuckle out of it and are not too bored by everything. Let me quickly show you this painting. It's one that my grandmother did, and she lived with us in the mid 90s until she died. And she was an artist, and she was in her 80s when she died, and she painted this in her 70s, and I'm so happy to have some of her paintings. I'll show you some more another time. But anyway, God bless y'all. Everybody have a great weekend coming up, next week, whatever, and I love y'all, and I'll see you whenever I can get back onto this. Have a good evening. Bye.